You can't make this stuff up. Like, you couldn't have come up with this if you tried. It is the end of January. Right about now is when we were expecting to get a huge gameplay demo for the day before. They teased this a few weeks ago, saying that after careful consideration and discussions with their leadership, they would be doing us the honor of releasing some raw gameplay footage, adding, "This footage will showcase a majority of the features and gameplay elements requested by our community and will provide a clear glimpse into the current state of development." That announcement was posted on January 15th by Wolf, who is the head moderator on the Day Before's Discord and Steam channels. Keep this name in mind, by the way, as we continue to go forward here. Now, like a lot of you, I was looking forward to this gameplay demo, honestly, with the hope that it would paint a clear picture of what to expect from the Day Before when it launches on March 1st. As covered ad nauseum in other videos here, there's just been red flag after red flag for both the developer and the game itself that has made me suspicious ever since its initial reveal. So I was genuinely excited for release, like for better or worse. If the game turned out decent or even good, awesome. I'm dying for a new next-gen zombie survival MMO, as are a lot of people given the game's wishlist status. But if it turned out to be a disaster, like I've been led to believe, just as well. Like, bad games are fun to check out and talk about too. So I figured we're this close to release that a raw gameplay reveal is really going to give us a clear idea of which of these two realities we're going to land on. Well, we're not getting that raw gameplay demo. The game isn't launching on March the 1st. It's not even listed on Steam, and it might not even be called the Day Before for much longer either. What happened? What has transpired in the past 24 hours? About midday on Tuesday, people began to notice that the Day Before had been delisted from Steam, as in it was no longer a page on the platform. You could still Google for the Day Before and find a cached link of the page, but clicking on it would just route you to the Steam homepage. Also, searching in Steam's database for the Day Before comes up with no results for the page either. This was kind of weird, but supposedly was just a bug. Wolf, that head moderator we spoke about earlier who teased the gameplay showcase, he posted on the Steam forums that this was just a bug due to a regular weekly maintenance that Steam does, and it would be resolved sometime soon. Unfortunately for that statement, the game was actually removed prior to Steam maintenance. The timestamps on SteamDB show that the Day Before's page and its related assets were removed at 10:25 p.m. UTC, which was roughly 30 minutes prior to Steam's maintenance beginning. But they could have still been related, right? I mean, 30 minutes, it's close enough. It's possible that it was a bug. Well, Steam maintenance concluded, and then several hours went by, and the game was still nowhere to be found. And then at around midnight my time, the developer Ffantastic posted the following statement. "Dear fans, right before the release, Steam blocked our game page at the request of a private individual because of the name The Day Before. As you know, our game was announced in January 2021. At that time of the announcement, the Day Before game trademark was available. After the announcement of the game, the above-mentioned individual filed an application before us to register the game trademark The Day Before in the United States. So, what's next? Well, they say previously we were not aware of the existence of claims. I'm pretty sure that's false. We found out about this only on January 19th, 2023 when we received a complaint from him and a request to contact him. Now we find out the circumstances. We're definitely going to solve everything. Also, by the way, that gameplay demo that they were going to do, they can't do it until they sort this issue out. Also, as a result, they made the difficult decision to postpone the launch of the game until November 10th, 2023. They're going to focus on making the best game possible. Blah, 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 blah. Frankly, pretty much all of this statement is a whole lot of baloney, but more specifically, their excuse of just having learned about the trademark thing doesn't hold water. And I say that with confidence because fortunately enough, the entire trademark registration process is available to the public. Let's take a look. Here is the timeline of trademark filings for the Day Before. So Ffantastic announces their game in January 2021. At that time, like they said, the trademark for that name was available, but for whatever reason, they do nothing. Then in June, 6 months after the game is revealed, one Sunjae Lee files a trademark application for the name. Bear in mind, we don't really know who Sunjae Lee is and what, if any, association they might have with with the developers or with the game. If they aren't associated whatsoever, they could just be filing a trademark for their own usage for some other media. Or, yeah, it could also be an attempt to snipe the name from Fntastic, who 6 months after revealing the game still hadn't sent in their own application. But whatever. The reality is, Sungjae Lee files for trademark June 2021. Then in January 2022, Fntastic finally submits their own application for trademark for The Day Before, 7 months after Sungjae Lee and a full year after revealing their game. In August 2022, Sungjae Lee's trademark was published for opposition, which from my lay understanding means at that point, presumably, Fntastic or anyone else could have stepped in and said, hey, no, we want that trademark. Evidently, Fntastic either knew nothing or chose to do nothing, because come November 2022, Sungjae Lee's trademark for The Day Before gets approved. It is now official and on the books. That same month in November, according to the official US Patent and Trademark Office records, which we have access to, Fntastic receives an action notice that their trademark would not be going through. The reasons were a few. They received a partial refusal for some likelihood of confusion, probably with the trademark that is now currently official and filed. And they also had a few required amendments that they had to make. A lot of this is over my head. I am not an expert on trademarks or the process that this goes through, but to say that they didn't find out about this trademark issue until, let me check the notes here, last week, January 19th, no. According to official records, they should have known there was a problem last August when that notice of opposition for trademark was published. If they didn't know then, they absolutely knew something was wrong when they got that notice in November. So circling back around to their statement of why they had to cancel the reveal of that raw gameplay video and also delay the game from March all the way to November, all had to do with this trademark that they were supposedly taken off guard by and only got notice of a few days ago. That is almost guaranteed to be false. They would just have to be completely oblivious to the process of trademarks that they're engaging with, which is certainly possible because it took them a full year after revealing the game to even apply for the trademark. Also, I guess bear in mind, they are not a US-based company, so maybe filing for trademark in the US wasn't at the forefront of their mind. Entirely possible. As we've covered in a lot of videos in the past, they don't exactly seem like the most in tune business people. But honestly, I'm not here to cast disparaging remarks. I'm more interested in the facts, what's taking place, and what we should expect as consumers and people who have been keeping an eye on this particular game. Which segues me into the next bit. Remember Wolf, that head moderator for The Day Before, the one who posted the announcement of the gameplay raw reveal? Well, earlier this morning, they said the following: those who wonder if the game is real, I'm wondering the same right now as well. Shortly after, they said nobody has seen gameplay. Wolf is the one who posts just about everything on the official Day Before and Discord channels. Like, again, far as I can see, going back to as early as early 2022, Wolf has been the one to post most official news and announcements on these platforms. And I gotta tell you, if this person is saying that they are not sure if the game is real, that they have never to this point seen any actual gameplay, I don't know who else has to say it to you outside of the developer themselves that something is seriously amiss here. Which reminds me, that raw gameplay demo that we were supposed to be getting that's been postponed because of the trademark dispute, following the announcement of the delay of the game, Fntastic said, as for the gameplay video, we will consult with lawyers first and then we can publish it. Maybe there is some reason why an issue with the trademark of the name of your game would prevent you from posting gameplay footage of the game, but it's not like they've removed the Day Before branding from their website, from any of their official social medias, from existing YouTube videos that are already published. They could edit the title, the name of the game. If having that name of the game associated to that gameplay was an issue, they could remove it at any point. I could go change any of my YouTube titles right now. It is really that easy. I don't quite know if I buy it. I don't buy it. Also, remember, this is the second time that they have pushed the game back a month prior to a scheduled release date. Originally, The Day Before was slated to launch in June 2022, and a month prior to that, on May the 5th, they posted a statement that they were switching to Unreal Engine 5, they needed more time, and they were delaying the game till March the 1st. Now, to me, that was at least understandable. Like, if you tell me you're swapping to a newer engine that'll make the game better, make it visually better, make it perform better, and you need another 10 months to make sure that it all works. Sure, I get that. But this, a trademark dispute that you supposedly only learned about last week, although public records say that you should have known about at least last November, if not back in August. For that, you're delaying the game 9 more months? What does the trademark dispute have to do with the preparedness of the game? It all just feels, and that first announcement also kind of felt like a convenient excuse for a game that not doesn't exist, but clearly isn't ready in a state that they want to release to the public. I've talked about and covered this game so many times, and I've gone over the same details over and over and over again. I am not going to rehash the developer's history here, other than to tell you they have a very poor record with games in the past. They've only released pretty much bad games that they took money for and then shortly thereafter abandoned. I'm not talking years after, I'm talking a couple of months after releasing a game, abandoned. We don't need to go into all of that. My prior videos are still on the platform. You can go check them out if you want. At this point, here's what I feel like is happening. If we were to try to take like a grand picture view of like what is the day before, what is going on? I think they ginned up a super narrow vertical slice for that first reveal trailer, got together all of these assets, they did some work, they bought some stuff, they maybe stole some stuff. I'm not making accusations, I'm saying it's within the realm of possibility given how good a lot of this stuff looked from a developer who really has never made a game that's looked good. But whatever, however they came about it, they had built not a full game, but a level, basically, using assets that they flipped or purchased from the Unreal Engine store or whatever, and they made a really pretty looking gameplay trailer, an amazing looking gameplay trailer, the thing that set off this entire freight train of what is the day before. From there, with time, they expanded upon it. They produced other areas, which we have seen in subsequent gameplay videos after that initial reveal. As they got closer to their first planned release date, they realized they needed more time. They couldn't put this on the store. It wasn't ready because they probably still didn't have a game at that point. Nothing that was fully functional, just enough to make some trailers with the few areas that they had. So that is when we got the first delay. Remember that the excuse for that original delay was that they were swapping to Unreal Engine 5, presumably to make the game look and play better. With every new gameplay trailer, the game has looked progressively worse. If you put them side by side, if you go the first gameplay trailer and then the second and then the third and then the fourth with all the little snippets that we had in between to the most recent gameplay trailer we got not too long ago, and then you take that first trailer and put it next to this newest trailer, they look like different games. The visual disparity is that much. And I've talked about this in prior videos. It's not uncommon phenomenon for a developer to have a target that they're shooting for, and then as they get closer to release for their actual game not to live up to that target. A lot of times it's because, hey, we want the game to look this good, but if the game looks this good, it runs like crap. So to make sure it doesn't run like crap, we're gonna make it look worse but perform better. That is not uncommon, happens all the time. Take a look at Ubisoft trailers. It's very, very, very common occurrence. But in this particular instance, I really think it's because that initial trailer wasn't a game at all. It was just a level, for lack of better terms, because I'm not a game developer. It was just a level that they constructed to make a trailer. They had not built out a game. They had nowhere close to a game at that point. So they get close to that first release date. They realize we cannot release this. It will be a disaster. We push it back. What's the excuse? Unreal Engine 5. Despite Unreal Engine 5, the game keeps looking worse and worse. Whatever. That brings us to today. They clearly realize they still don't have enough time, and now we sit here with delay number 2. What is going to happen in the coming months? I'm going to say by the time the day before releases, because I do still think it is possible that this thing releases. I'm not delusional. Many issues as there are, this is still a company that has made and released games. Small games, ugly and buggy games, games that don't perform well, and games that they abandon. Yes, 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 and yes, but they have still released games. They didn't just appear out of the blue and say, hey, we made a game. It's their first game we ever made. They have made games. They have a game on the store right now. I do think they're making a game, but I think when it releases, if that's next November, it's going to probably be barely functional, ugly, buggy, and completely unoptimized based on the fact that how many more signs do we need, I guess, is really what it comes down to. And if nothing else, it is absolutely going to way under-deliver on the original sales pitch of that first trailer and what they were calling an open-world zombie survival MMO. I would also expect that sometime between now and the November release, assuming we don't get yet another delay, between now and then, expect to see 1 or 2 more new games or new products were made by Fntastic that they want to push out there, because that's basically what's come of this so far. You know, a lot of people say, how is this a scam if they're not even making any money? Like, what's the point of going through all of this effort to not, they're not taking pre-orders. You know what I mean? They don't have a Kickstarter page. What are they doing all this for? Two things come to my mind. Number one, getting funding from investors. And number two, to promote their other products, because they have, over the course since the game was first revealed, drummed up all this hype around the game and then had these big announcements that were supposed to be about the day before turn out to be about a new game that they were making in the case of Prop Night, or an application for teams working remotely in the case of the Continent app, the most recent fiasco that took place. To sum it all up, this has been absolutely crazy. I don't know what else to say. Absolutely crazy following the story. And I was very excited for March 1st. I was looking forward to see whatever the day before was actually going to be in reality once we had a playable build that we could download and boot up on our home computers. Now it looks like we're going to have to wait until November, presuming that they deal with these trademark issues and don't change their name and aren't also developing other games or apps, which I think they probably are, and presuming they don't delay again out of November. Either way, I don't think they could get any lower, but I'm setting my expectation even lower than it was a week ago for the day before. And I think you probably should too. Just saying. That does it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.